we are watching a game of old school Magic the Gathering. This is going to be played in the Paladins format, which has an additional banned and restricted list on top of the Eternal Central rules. You can find more information on the Paladins in the description. It's a great group of players. You're not allowed to use Mind Twist, Library Alexandria, and very importantly, things like the Mishra's Factory are restricted to 1, which does change at least some of the high-end meta decks, so to speak. So today I'm trying to have fun with a deck that uses Mana Flare. Mana Flare, you tap a land, it creates 2 mana of the color. And so with that, trying to make some of the creatures that aren't played that much more viable. So things like the Deathlock from Legends, which costs 4 to cast, or in this case it will be 2 lands if you have Mana Flare out. It's a 2/2 flyer that can buff your other creatures. Can be tapped to buff other creatures, which maybe I could buff another creature and then berserk it. Try to do something like that with it. The Stangg, which comes out, it's a 3/4 creature that creates a token of itself. If either one of them dies, they both die, but again, could be interesting card, and you get 2 of them out there. You double attack, you giant growth 1. Who knows? Force of Nature, very powerful card. 8/8 with trample. You have Urnum Djinn. I mean, Urnum is even better when it only costs 2 lands tapped with the Mana Flare to play. You have your 2 dragons, Dragon Whelp, and the Shivan Dragon, which can, of course, you can pump a lot of red mana into. And so just trying to just win with creatures. And once we get those creatures out, things like Howl from Beyond could be really fun to play with the Mana Flare. You get plus X 0, so you just buff the attack really high, and then Berserk or on top of that. Other cards to play here are things like Inferno, which again costs a lot to cast, but it does 6 damage to all creatures and all players. So really just trying to see if we have Mana Flare online, what can we play that's very silly. And that was kind of the idea of the deck. Probably looking at this, I would probably take out Soul Ring because I just don't need the extra mana anymore. But I definitely think there's a lot you can do if you're just looking to have fun with Mana Flare. So in this video is a previous game that I played, and me and Brandon are doing commentary on that game, and it's just me playing on the red mat. So let's see how this deck works. Okay, and so the video actually jumps. It starts on like the 3rd turn. So I had played out a Chaos Orb, he had played out a Chaos Orb, me playing on the red mat on the bottom, and then he flipped his Chaos Orb on my proxy orb.
Orb on orb action.
Oh yeah, it was too graphic to show, so I cut the beginning of the video. We don't like to see that.
Video would have been taken down from YouTube. Would have been flagged.
Yeah. So we can't show that.
We can show the Granite Gargoyle though.
We can show the Granite Gargoyle,
which I'm happy to see Granite Gargoyle see a bit more play recently.
Yeah, it's a solid card. It's a solid card. As you play old school more and more, I mean, for newer players going into the older format, it doesn't seem that good, but flying is a good ability. So
it is a good ability. It only costs 3. Yeah, but if you're playing modern mostly, you look at that card, you go, I don't get it.
Yeah. But we're not. So, and the Gargoyle comes in, hits me for 2. So both players here developing the board quickly with the mana base and everything.
Yeah, quite a bit of mana. And Stangg.
So Stangg. So yeah, this is
the first legendary creature to come out.
The first one. And it's interesting, and it's not unfair, but most players don't know this card or don't remember the card. So it can almost be a surprise when you cast it. But it creates it's a 3/4 that creates a token of itself. So it's like casting 2 creatures. However, if one of them dies, they both die. So they do have a weakness.
It's also very cool looking.
I would say he has a very cool sword. He's got skulls on his...
I actually just noticed those skulls on the... what is I don't know what that is. Shoulder piece.
Yeah.
Disintegrate. Oh.
Well, and this is...
I think you just talked about the weakness of the Stangg.
Yes, and then. So
hey, that's one disintegrate that won't hit you.
That's true. That does, yeah.
And so that gargoyle is still threatening now.
Still, yeah. We'll see. I think. We'll see what else we have. But yeah, potentially could be cool, especially in a deck that's running berserks and stuff. And oh yeah, the dragon.
As soon as you see it, I go Shivan.
I remember. Yeah, it's just a card I just like to cast it.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
It's a classic.
It's a 5/5 flyer. It's beefy. Oh, okay. Well. Yep.
Is it beefy? Is it beefy? Because 2 Chain Lightnings got rid of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, 2 Chain Lightnings had to handle that.
So yeah, I'm happy. I'm like,
you're emptying his hand out of all burn.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Eventually, you'll be able to play a card that'll stick.
That will stick. Won't be Stangg. Won't be the dragon.
It won't be Stangg. He's playing a very true to heart red burn deck here.
Yeah, you see why they're kind of classics. People like playing them. They have lots of
great. Yeah. Oh, look at that! Man, just coming out with the heat. Coming out with the heat, starting with the Stangg, comes out with the Shivan, and then a Force of Nature. Man.
If we're gonna play old school. Play the old creatures.
Play the old stompy creatures. Now he's counting his mana.
Yeah, which is like, oh, he does. I mean, is
he counting his mana to see that maybe he's got a spell, or maybe he's thinking about pumping that gargoyle to defend?
Yeah.
Don't know.
And so here, I'm playing this card incorrectly. I just took 8 damage. Again, it's
okay,
people can correct me in the comments, but it's untap your cards, then upkeep, so I can retap the lands to pay.
Yeah. Then
draw a step. But there, I took the damage thinking that I didn't have the mana to play. So
you took the damage on your your untap phase.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but you still berserk it.
Yep.
And
I mean, this is, again, this was on my old school wish list. It's like, what if I berserk a Force of Nature? So that is a 16 damage with trample coming in.
Oh, that's amazing.
That right? Isn't that just?
That's so great.
If you want to play big stompy creature decks in this format, I think this is as big as it goes. I mean, there's Colossus.
You usually don't see Force of Natures. Oh yeah, Colossal Sardinia.
Right.
Colossal Sardinia would be awesome, but usually you don't see berserks on something like a Force of Nature. Usually it's like giant growth.
What? Yeah,
like a grizzly bear, and then berserk it to get that multiplier of damage, right? To be able to come out and just berserk a Force of Nature feels great.
It's dumb. It's great.
That's all that matters. And he's gonna bolt you.
And hit me with the gargoyle. I'm at 1. I'm at 1 life. Which is always.
Man, that gargoyle is just. Always gonna shatter the soul ring.
This happened more than once, but I recently lost a game where I had 1 life, and if I was able to tap City of Brass, would win. But was not able to. So 1 life, and I don't have City of Brass out here, but 1 life is always dangerous.
Fortunately, that's not a problem. And Urnham Jin. Man, whole lot of really powerful
just
showing.
Chucking out.
Just throwing out, It's like a military parade, just bringing all the biggest weapons out. And okay, and then that's over. All right.
Now, if I didn't misplay Force of Nature, I think I
Yeah, I think yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Unfortunate.
But still fun. It's still fun to see that. Happen.
Still great. See, with the red deck, that red burn, it's just consistent. It's consistent, It just It does what it needs to do almost every time. Oh, that mat that he has. I've seen that mat. That's a great mat.
Yeah. It's like the Northern Paladins mat.
It's a mixture of all different types. He's got a...
Yeah. There's like the Black Knights, the ghouls out there, the
ghouls,
demonic horrors guys.
Specters.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got,
It's a beautiful mat. Very cool.
Starting off, we got a Trop Island. He's... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's a strong showing. Ruby Mount. Oh boy. Oh wow. And now he has nothing in his hand.
Yeah, but I mean, is this the most? I mean, the most old school opening you could have, like to play a Soul Ring, a Mox, a Lotus, a Candelabra, like.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
A welcome to the format kind of
opening. What would make it complete? A wheel. A nice wheel of fortune.
If he had played out a dual land instead of a basic and then a wheel, then yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, or a Time Twister or something, right?
Yeah, that would have been nice. Two
Listen,
Trops.
I've got 2 Trops.
I mean, hey.
That's pretty good to me.
That's pretty good in my book.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine putting out, a Soul Ring, a Mox, a Lotus, a land, and then capping the Lotus to do like a Time Twister, which puts the Lotus back into your...
Put all, put
oh
it right back
my god, yeah. One day.
Woof.
Listen.
Oh,
we got Mox. We got Moxes over here. We got power.
Okay. Coming out with a Bayou and another Urnum. Hey.
Okay.
This is looking like a pretty good start here.
All right. Sometimes you just gotta focus on your strategy and what you're executing. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Oh, Blood Moon.
Oh.
That is devastating. Oh.
Yes. I think when I was playing this game, it took a second to register that I had old duels out, and that
took a moment to register.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very bad for me.
And I'm out. Yeah. Now, granted, I'm running red green, so I do have access to my red still,
right.
And thankfully have the Mox out. But still, Blood Moon is an impressive card.
It really is. So now you're kind of thinking, oh, how do I deal with this Blood Moon?
Yeah. I always get a little uneasy when there's someone just has a Black Lotus just sitting on the board.
Yeah.
Because
I think it may just be sitting there. I don't know how many cards he has in hand, but it can't be much. Okay, he's going to disintegrate that Urnum.
So he's exiled. Yeah, but still, it always just feels like, because at any time he could just dump it into 3 mana. It kind of is like, ugh.
Yeah, and he's just kind of waiting for
the right moment,
the right top deck. Yeah.
Black Lotus, an unknown card from Legends, actually, that most people overlook. I'm kidding you.
Yeah, the Black Lotus.
Yeah, that's
one
always
of
a
the
joke.
Rare artifacts from Legends.
Yeah, that's always a joke. Like, there's always these cards in Legends that you don't know about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I mean, even just today, I saw a card that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
It's a huge set. Legends is a massive set.
How about this one?
Sword of Ages, yeah. I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Really cool card, too.
So, for people who don't know, you could sacrifice it and as many creatures as you want, and it combines the power of the creatures
to damage one target.
To one target. So you could.
It can be devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen games won with the Sword of Ages. It's really cool. I actually almost bought one at my local card shop.
Oh.
And I don't know why I didn't.
Here comes the Deathlock, which again was a card.
Okay, this is one that I haven't seen this.
Yeah. I mean,
the Tuknir Deathlock.
Yeah.
It's a really cool card, though.
Really cool card. Cool art. 2/2 flyer. You tap it to target creature gains +2/+2. Again, I like that. It's not just a 2/2 flyer, but it has some ability that may come in handy.
And that's actually a really good ability to get a +2/+2.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I also like if someone was to fireball one of your creatures, then you could buff it out of fire, like out of the range or out of the, I like that that utility.
It is cool.
And flying is just always solid, so.
It would be pretty good for maybe a script sprite that you have. Those little one
Yes,
flyers.
yes. That's another.
All of a sudden, it's a 3/3.
3/3. Yes.
Ooh, an earthquake.
Earthquake for
Ooh.
1. I'm okay with eating an earthquake for 1 there. I don't think that's like a big danger. I lose my elf. I have enough mana at this point, but
You have a lot of red mana. Oh, he's gonna strip. What is he stripping?
he's gonna strip me out of black.
Which you didn't really have because of that blood moon anyway, right? But
yeah, that's true. But I guess it's like just in case I got rid of the blood moon.
in case
then
you
I don't
do
have
get rid
black.
of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Another mountain.
I'm playing out mountains. Yeah.
Oh man, that blood moon is so brutal. I'm not sure who's on. Okay, so it's and a lotus comes out. It gets cracked, and a howling I'm sorry,
Howling Mine,
howl
yeah.
from beyond. A howl from beyond on the Deathlock.
Right now, the Lotus allows you to get around Blood Moon. As someone who used to
Right.
play, so I don't know however much I did it for. So he goes down
Quite
to
a bit.
4. So as someone who used to play, mono red, I'd play out Blood Moon, and like way too many times someone would put out a Lotus, crack it for white, disenchant the Blood Moon. I'd be like, oh, the
Yeah.
Lotus. Again, the Lotus is a
It's just incredibly versatile.
Yeah.
I don't know, if that versatility warrants the price tag.
Oh well.
I think it's just because it's become just such an iconic card, And there
That's
you go.
it.
A bolt for the win.
Yeah. So that's the thing with the Blood Moon is that it's like I still have bolts.
You still
And
have
dude, the
bolts and you
Deathlock-
have access to red.
Deathlock does some damage.
Deathlock came in, did some stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So I was only able to cast that because I had the Elf, which gave me green, and the Mox gave me green for the 2 green. Right? To get
Right.
around that Blood Moon. It was like kind of lucky,
Right.
but really. And that comes in and wins the game. We go to game 3.
Love to see a game 3.
So yeah, the deck that I made for this video or for this match, like I just tried to have fun with creatures. There's so many cool.
Using things that you don't often use.
Right.
That's
I
I think that's the most interesting aspect of old school. Just playing stuff
There's
that
a
you
lot,
haven't seen
yeah.
before.
Yeah, because there's so many combos of creatures and artifacts and stuff. They
You
just
also
don't
have
get played
fireballs.
too much. Yeah.
Fireballs
so
get played plenty.
Yeah, it's a good card.
It is. And that Kurt Ape
So
goes away.
I try, the Taiga Kurt Ape, the classic opening, because it buffs the Kurt Ape.
Yep.
But
It is. That's a great opening.
yeah,
Oh, look at that.
there's your
Factor is pretty
factory.
good.
Yeah. He didn't really get out many creatures last match, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I start hitting him with the factory. He just passes again.
It's not a bad strategy.
Yeah, it puts a threat on the board, makes him consider it.
Right. What does he have to get rid of it? He does have
Yeah.
Shatter in that deck, doesn't he? Okay, well, there you go.
And now again, this is where sometimes I personally play too aggressive because now I just drop down a mana.
Right,
And
yeah.
so if you want to play
Yeah,
Ernie,
it's hard to
I know,
though.
because right now, like if with 4, I could have played Urnum Jin if I had one. It is. It's just like it was unnecessary to lose the factory there, but
If you had the Urnum in hand, yeah, you probably should have just waited, played out
Yeah.
that Urnum, and then started going
And then,
for 2.
yeah.
But a Mana Flare, really cool card, very fun. Basically, gonna double dip all your mana, as well as his.
Yeah.
So each mana is going to produce an extra mana of the appropriate type. We got cards tapping, untapping. I don't know what's going on right now.
So he played out a Mana Flare.
Oh,
And so I think here is that he's going to, he tapped Soling for 2, the Mountain tapped for 2, so he's going to take a mana burn because it goes 3. Yeah. Now I think in this game, watching it back, that we now completely misplay Mana Flare because every land taps for 3. right? Because there's 2 mana flares.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so here, so
There's
for instance,
one extra.
I'm only tapping it if my mana flare impacts me. So again, we are for people watching playing it wrong, but in the moment, it just goes by so quick. Yes, but
yeah, yeah. So technically, yeah, kind of like the Howling Mine, right? Everyone's gonna draw 1 card. The mana flare, everyone's
it's
gonna stack. Ooh, an Ancestral Recall.
So he is gonna respond.
What did he respond with? I didn't even see. Oh.
He double forked the Ancestral Recall, targeting him, so he is going to draw 6 cards.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That,
I
right?
love fork.
That is probably one of the coolest old school moves I have seen.
Yep, fork. We always talk about that. Forking Ancestral Recall
right.
is such an awesome thing to do.
But how about double forking?
Double forking a recall? That I have not seen. And made that much easier because of the mana flare.
Yes. So again, mana flare, mana flare just puts the game on it's like almost like God mode, but it's like super juiced mode.
Yeah, just steroids, right?
So yeah, I'll just, regardless if it wins here, he's gonna get. This player gets. Double forking Ancestral Recall is amazing.
That's a victory to me. And look at that, Hell from Beyond comes back again.
He comes.
Now with the mana flare, are you doing this appropriately?
No. So I'm still, but okay. it's 1, 2, 3. So I'm tapping this for 10 mana. It should be much more than that.
It should. It should be like 15.
Yeah.
That because the game. Right? Because he had 19 life.
And that's game anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, it was like I tapped it for 10. 1 was the black for the Howl from Beyond. So I think I buffed it by 8, and then used one extra for the Berserk, and that was it. So Howl from Beyond plus Berserk is just wild.
Plus Berserk, it's like 20 something damage. Nuts.
Yeah. So again, you notice how fast those games can go with Mana Flare. Love Mana Flare.
Yeah, Mana Flare.
I think this deck, I'm going to keep building around Mana Flare. At least this version of this deck is quite fun.
Keep testing it out.
Yeah.
Looking for cards that kind of work well with Mana Flare.
Yeah.
Utilize all that extra mana. It's cool.
Yeah. I will find something in the depths of Legends and be back.
Yeah.